What's going on, guys? My name is Nick Foy, the founder of Under 30 Wealth, which is a finance blog where we teach those in their 20s how to better practice with their money, budget their money, invest their money so that they can save up, build wealth in their 20s to try to retire early in life in their 30s and 40s. There's a lot of young people who can become millionaires earlier in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and not have to wait until their 60s to retire. So that's the focus of this website. And one of the ways you get there is through real estate investing, which is what we're talking about today. In order to buy real estate, there's a process known as looking at the title to make sure that it's free and clear when you take ownership of a property so that nobody comes knocking on your door requesting the property saying they have ownership rights to it. You have to make sure that when you're buying it from the seller, that the seller actually owns the property, that they actually have rights to sell that property, and then it's not somebody else that owns the property that's going to come claiming, that they still own the property. So that's where we're going to talk today about how to conduct a title search. And we're going to get into the two different methods. You can conduct your own title search, or you can use a title company and you can pay them a fee to run, a title check. And there's also a title insurance policy that you get for a fee that then, will help you in case something arises where an ownership claim is made and you have to go to court to try to figure out who actually owns the property and if you can actually take possession of the property. And so it can get messy if for some reason there's a defect on the title chain, but that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you're buying a house or a piece of property, you need to conduct a title search before completing the purchase transaction. The title search is defined as the process of examining past tax records, deeds, and many other finance-related transactions related to a piece of property. The reason why you need a title search is to make sure that the person you're purchasing the property from is the actual owner so that the property is transferred to you legally without any issues. Why do you need clear title? The reason why you need a title search goes beyond the ownership verification. You should be aware of other things on the title as well, like mortgages or liens against the property. So if the previous owner was not paying their property taxes, then the government could put a property tax lien on the property. And as the new owner of the property, you are responsible when you take over a property for different liens and issues wrong with the property. So that's another reason why to run a title check to see who else is putting claims on title for that property. And again, you want to make sure that it's free and clear when you take it over so that you're not walking into a mess of problems that are left over from previous owners. Deed restrictions on a property. So deed restrictions, they can limit basically what you can do with a property. So when you are checking into, buying a piece of real estate, you want to learn about the different deed restrictions so that you can make sure that what you plan to do with the property will abide by those different restrictions that may be on it. So a lot of the deed restrictions have to do more so with like homeowner association properties. A lot of times like condominium towers, they're part of like an HOA, or if you find a home in a neighborhood that's part of an HOA, there's different deed restrictions as far as, rules and things that you have to follow. So you always want to make sure too that you're aware of the different deed restrictions on a property. All right, let's talk a little bit more about title insurance. So is it necessary to purchase title insurance when doing, title checks and title background work? So most insurance agents, realtors, bankers, they're going to convince you that it's ideal to, go ahead and buy a policy of title insurance from the title company. Now, the little catch here is that it's pretty expensive. You're going to end up paying hundreds of dollars. Sometimes it can run over $1,000. It just depends on the company and, the type of work they're doing for you to run this title background check. But one of the benefits of title insurance is that if something did go wrong, if they came back and said everything was free and clear, but really that wasn't the case, maybe they missed something during their research through their database and looking over all the deeds and all the title chains. If they miss something, then they basically are taking responsibility for it when you have title insurance. So if you have to go to court to fight things, they're going to be the ones pretty much going to court on your behalf and, taking the fault there. So they're going to be making sure that, the court costs are covered and things like that as part of this title insurance policy. So that is one of the perks of getting, title insurance and having a title check done through a title company. However, if you were trying to save the money, you could do it yourself, which would be the cheaper way. So one of the best ways to handle this is to get the abstract of title from a professional abstractor. So professional abstractors are found a few ways. One of the ways is to do a Google search. So all you got to do is type in the name of the city, the state you're in, or the country, and then you got to do the title search, and then finally the abstractor. So then you'll be able to decide whether if you're able to find a professional abstractor or not. So for example, if you're living in Miami, Florida, you could type in, abstractors, Miami, Florida, and you could see if any, professionals come up for that search. You can also contact the county records office and get their recommendations on whom you can get a title search from, because the majority of the records offices have connections. So they're for sure probably going to know of a couple title abstractors to put you in touch with that they can hand out as a resource to you. There's another choice, which is contacting, again, the title insurance agency and requesting to get a title search through the title insurance agency. So again, you're just going to go on to Google and type in title companies near me and let Google pop up a list of title companies to start contacting. But if you're buying a property through a real estate agent, a lot of times a real estate agent will pretty much submit files and paperwork to the title company for you, and they'll get that whole process started for you. So if you're just like a for sale by owner or doing something kind of on your own without an agent, then that would be the route you'd have to take, is you'd have to look up these title companies yourself. And a lot of times real estate agents will even ask you what title company you want to use, when you're buying and selling the property. They'll ask you your preference, and then, that's where the closing will typically be held, whichever title escrow agency that you select. So it's also good to do some research on your own in the meantime, so you can let your real estate agent know what title company you want to use. But as far as doing the title, on your own, again, you're just going to look up the title abstractor, and you're going to get him to send you all the different documents. So once you get all these documents, you're going to have to sift through them and look at all the different ownership history. So it might cost $75 to $150 for this service to get the abstract sent from the professional abstractor. Sometimes it can be higher, but $75 to $150 is a lot cheaper than, like I said, what you'd be paying through a title company if you're going that route. But you're not going to have, the title insurance aspect of it. So if you make a mistake looking through title and you're worried about not doing it right and you're not sure how to do it yourself, then it's probably best to go through, a title company that's experienced professionals who have a database and a research team that can sift through all the important records and documents. So as far as yourself, though, when you're reviewing documents, again, you're looking at the chain of title. So this means the series of people that have owned the property previously. So, in 1900, Bob might have sold it to Dan, in 1910, and then maybe 10 years later in 1920, he sold it to Elizabeth, and then 10 years later, she sold it to Ruth. So you're just looking over the history of time, all the different property owners of that piece of real estate, and there's a chain of title. And if for some reason one is missing, you don't know who bought and sold, in the 1960s, it jumps from like the 50s to the 80s, but yet you saw that the property was sold in the 60s. If for some reason you're missing, a gap there, that's called a break in title. And that's where we got to get that resolved to make sure that, somebody from that purchase, it gets straightened out so that there's not people coming saying they still have claim to the property. All right, you can also check the tax assessor's records. So this is another important place that you can find a lot of information about property owners. So if you do happen to find, previous property owners and you need to find out, what's going on the chain of title, and you need to reach out and contact them to see if they can submit documents to you or get things recorded so that it can clear up the title chain and, make the errors go away. In order to find information about them, a lot of times in the tax assessor records, you can find what their current property address is, current mailing address is, by just searching their name. Or if you happen to have an address on file for them, you could search the property tax records that way, and that'll let you know then who the person is at that address. So you can find out their name if you're trying to do a reverse lookup that way. So a lot of tax assessor websites are where you can get online and look this stuff up, or you can go down to your city tax assessor, downtown somewhere, and you can go in and look up stuff manually at the office, downtown with them. But most have a website online or a portal you can get onto to look up this information. So different things you can find out on these websites, again, are the street addresses, mailing addresses. You can find out sometimes their names. You can find out different information about a property if you're looking up that specific property, like lot dimensions, square footage, maybe what their annual taxes are on the property as far as property taxes are concerned. So you can see different tax records as well. You get parcel numbers, lot numbers, history as far as unpaid and paid taxes. So this can all be helpful information that can aid you in your research of different properties and different property owners on that chain of title. So overall, that's kind of the basics of what, a title policy is, title companies, researching the chain of title, deed restrictions. I mean, kind of just giving you an overview today, not going super in depth in it, but the basics here to understand, when you buy a piece of real estate, you are going to have to do a title check on it to make sure that all the other owners have recorded throughout history that they've sold the property. That way none of them come back claiming they still own the property and causing issues for you taking over title to the property. So you want to get that title signed away to you free and clear, and make sure that there's a clear chain of title of all the previous owners, and doing research to make sure that you can clarify any past owners who might still have documents that never got recorded that could satisfy, to make that chain look a lot cleaner and not have any gaps in it. So thanks for listening to today's episode, and I'll see you guys in the next real estate investing lesson that we've got for you. In the meantime, you can always check out the blog under30wealth.com to learn more about real estate investing and personal finance by sifting through different blog articles, as well as connecting with us on our YouTube channel if you want to learn more and watch YouTube videos to learn in video format. Yo, check this out. So if you type in asknickfoy.teachable.com, asknickfoy.teachable.com, when you hit enter, it's going to open up my resource library. So I've been working on tons of training video modules, and I put them together in these different courses. And you can go over here to asknickfoy.teachable.com, and you can learn how to start a website that makes money. So this is called Profitable Blogger. You can also learn how to make money from social media like Pinterest. You can also learn real estate investing. So these are 3 ways I currently make money right now. I'm making $6,000 to $7,000 a month. I've already come out with a video showing you how I was making $1,400 a week a little while back, and we're on pace to eventually get to $10K a month passive income through websites, through social media, and through real estate investing. So these 3 methods combined, I created these 3 training courses. You can go here to asknickfoy.teachable.com to check them out, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the inside when you enroll in them. Yo, before you go, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, Nick Foy TV. If you hover the lower right corner of your video right now, you're gonna see the little red subscribe button. When you hover that, it's gonna pop up that subscribe button, and it would mean a lot. I already appreciate you gave me your time, your attention today, but if you could also hit that subscribe button, support the channel, and smash the like button, as they all say in every YouTube video. So smash the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.